I want to talk about the grid really quick in Warcraft Rumble because this is very, very important to understand. Otherwise, you're going to waste a lot of mini XP that you could have acquired, and you're going to have things fall off the board that maybe you wanted to save and buy. So I just want to show you a situation right here and how to do it properly within the grid, but you're going to spend some gold. So in this situation right here, I've got a really good talent for the Huntress right here that is going to give the glaive 3 additional bounces, and I definitely want to acquire that talent for my Huntress, but as you can see, it is in a different column than this XP boost right here of 420 mini XP. And if I move my Huntress to the proper position on the grid, I can double dip and get that XP along with acquiring the glaive talent upgrade. So spending 5 gold to acquire 420 mini XP is definitely worth it. If we scroll down a little bit in the shop, you can see here this offer for Tyrion, we're getting 840 mini XP for 320. So it's exactly double. It's 840 instead of 420. So if I halved this, it would be 160. So instead of 160 to get this 420 mini XP, we're only spending 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this mini XP and I'm going to move it to take up the spot where the Molten Giant is right here. And that way, when I buy this talent, now it's going to connect me to that mini XP, and you can see how it is glowing right now, and it's kind of bouncing a little bit in its box. That means when I purchase this for the 250 gold, I'm going to get the talent, and I'm also going to double dip by getting this bonus to the XP. So let's go ahead and buy that talent. Going to make my Huntress a lot better, and then boom, you can see up top that it's unlocking the talent and it's putting it down there automatically. And then we're also getting the 420 mini XP that will be applied down there on the bar, and I would not have gotten that if I didn't take the time to spend the 5 gold to move and get things to synergize properly. And then now when I click to back out of this, you're going to see how the grid shifts and how things are going to slot down, and then we'll get new stuff in the grid. So when I click right here, boom, you see how it slotted that whole column, and now we are replacing it with 2 things up top. We've got the Tyrion right here, and then we've also got the Maiev Shadow Song. And I'll do a few purchases here so you can get a glimpse at how this is going to be going. So right here, I'm going to buy the common Tyrion because I do want to eventually get him up to 25 and unlock him up to rare, because he is one of the leaders that I definitely want to develop here on my account and prioritize. So when I buy Tyrion, we're going to get a replacement here up top. So boom, we buy Tyrion. It's going to show me acquiring the star. It's going to place it down there. And then when I click to back out of here, you'll see the effect on the grid, and then boom, you can see that also the row was affected. So right here on the top right, if I wanted to buy that copy of Maiev, I would have needed to do it before I bought that Tyrion. And then this is lucky. I actually got another talent that I want to acquire because this is one of the favorites for the new Sylvanas leader. You've got the black arrow that's going to pierce through enemies in a line, dealing elemental damage. It'll really help her crank out more consistent damage. So what I would need to look at is, am I going to be worried about losing anything in the row or the column? And I'll show you how that adjusts. You've got the skeletons next to it, and then you've got the Jaina and the Molten Giant right here that are in the same column as the talent that I'm going to buy. So I buy that right here, and then it's going to acquire it. There wasn't any XP to synergize with anything, so we just get the talent. And then when I click out of here, after it auto equips it down there, and then boom, you can see that next to it, I lost those skeletons, and then also I lost the Jaina and the Molten Giant in that same column, and it completely shook that up. So you do want to be careful and make sure you're moving things around so that you don't lose anything. But this copy of the Huntress that I may want to buy, because she is an A or S tier ranged DPSer, I haven't purchased something in the same row or the same column, so I haven't needed to worry about losing her on the slot, and I'm going to be able to make that decision later if I want to spend the 90 gold on starting to level her up to rare. So the first priority when it comes to spending gold in the grid is you want to make sure you're getting the minis and the leaders that you're going to be using the most often up to at least uncommon. So getting those 3 purchases of rank, because when you rank something up to uncommon, like my Defias Bandits right here, that's going to unlock the talent slot that you can equip to get a massive upgrade. The Defias Bandits are now equipped with a talent that earns 2 extra gold when opening chests. That completely changes the mini. Takes them from like an A tier mini to an instant S tier mini in PvE content, especially when you can control the map and just constantly snowball that gold by tanking things with your unbound units and then sending out your bandits to get all those chests. And you can easily make like 10 to 16 gold in one match with these Defias Bandits if you're playing effectively and you have map control. And that's why you really want to prioritize in the grid getting these minis that you're going to be using across many different decks and playstyles. Some of the most universal ones that are going to be part of many leaders. You want to get them up to uncommon so that the talents will start showing up in the grid for those minis so you can acquire them. And then when you've gotten to that point where you have some of the leaders that you use the most and some of the minis that you use the most up to uncommon, if you are in a spot where you have some gold to spend or you're looking for something in the shop to keep things flowing, the next priority after that is going to be getting some of these that you haven't upgraded, like this ghoul right here is still 0 out of 3. That means it is still a common and I haven't upgraded it to uncommon yet. Well, you do want to start upgrading minis across the board to uncommon because it's going to be a cheap, or at least cheaper, way for you to scale up your collection level. Right here you can see my collection level is 35 out of 50 for leveling up, and on the far left 25 is my collection level, which is going to give us collection level bonuses. So you do want to scale those up by leveling up minis and increasing their rarity. So for the purpose of this video, if I was going to keep spending gold, right here what I would do is I would look at, is there something that I really want to level up? Defias Bandits are pretty S tier, but the ghoul right here is still 0 out of 3, so I do want to upgrade that to uncommon. I'm kind of in the phase where I need to start doing that to increase my collection level, but whichever one I choose, it's going to remove it from the grid because they are in that same column. So I'd have to kind of pick and choose, do I want to move one to a different spot and exchange it with another one, or do I want to just go ahead and purchase the bandits and not spend the 5 gold? And another thing to consider is there is also a whelp talent right here, and whelps are a very strong mini with a few different options in their talent tree, and they are right here. You can see the talent that I currently have on them is when one egg hatches, the others hatch immediately. Sometimes that can actually be a nerf to whelps because you want them to kind of stagger the release of the whelps into the air. So not a bad idea for me to grab some of the other talents. They're all kind of viable in different situations. The flame burst is also a pretty good one, so wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for me to pick up that other talent, because right now the talent that is equipped can actually hurt them in certain scenarios. So I probably wouldn't do this on my live account, but I will just show you so that you don't make a mistake like this. So let's say I did want to grab this talent for the whelp eggs, but I also wanted to get this ghoul upgraded to uncommon, kind of slowly progressing it so that I could increase my collection level. Well, if I buy this ghoul right here, I'm going to lose out on both the Defias Bandits down here that I may want to start working towards getting the 10 stars to upgrade them because they're a pretty S tier mini, and I'm gonna lose the capabilities of purchasing this talent for the whelp eggs. So I'll show you, this isn't something I would probably do, but I'm gonna show you when I buy this ghoul, I'm gonna lose out on the bandits and the talent for the whelp eggs. Once it's gonna place that down, I'll click through, but it's not going to affect the ones on the bottom right, the huntress and the spiderlings. So boom, see right there? I lost out on the Defias Bandits that were down below, and I lost out on the whelp eggs up here, but on the bottom right, my huntress and my spiderlings were completely unaffected because they weren't in the same column or the same row. So then on this grid right here, I would have a couple options, because the huntress is something I definitely want to get to rare because she is an S tier ranged damage dealer, but I've also got these spiderlings that are 0 out of 3, and it would be nice to start progressing them towards that 3 so I can upgrade them to uncommon and increase my collection level like we talked about. But I would probably prioritize, I mean, she is 0 out of 10, which is a little bit rough, but she is such a good mini that is so generally useful in so many different scenarios that I would probably want to scoop up the copies of the huntress when I see her. And there's nothing in her row, it's just the 2 blank spaces, but there is something right here next to her in the column. I would lose the spiderlings, but what I can do, as you see right there, is I can move those spiderlings. When you click on it, it'll show you, it'll kind of gold outline where you're allowed to go. I can't go up here, but I moved it over, and now if I buy this Huntress, there's nothing in the same row, there's nothing in the same column, and if I buy this, I'm not going to lose out on anything on the board. It's not really going to do anything except bring in a new one on that same column. And there we go. It did slot some things down, but it didn't drop anything off the board. It kind of collapsed it in, and now I've got a talent for the skeletons, and I've also got a bat rider, which I would definitely want to buy. But again, if I didn't want to lose out on this talent right here for the skeletons, I would definitely want to move things around and adjust it, but I'm okay with this. I'm just going to go ahead and purchase right here the bat rider. It'll adjust that down, and hey, I've got, this is what I'm talking about right here. So this is going well. I'm getting good instances to show in the video. This is the common blizzard. It's 2 out of 3. So if I purchase this, it indicates on the top right that it will have an upgrade arrow for me to level up my collection level. I want to make sure I'm not losing out on anything that I would want to get. This is something I would need to adjust. I would need to move this probably down and swap it with the execute if I wanted to make sure and prioritize getting that 0 out of 3 progress towards closer to upgrading. Not a huge deal. I would probably just scoop this up and then go with the upgrade to my collection level. So yeah, I would head on over to the collection and then scroll until I see the up arrow right here on the blizzard. And when I upgrade this, I will get a collection level bonus. That will be a good boost to my account. You'll see that blue bar up on the top left of the screen slide over to the right, and that means I'm closer to leveling up my collection level. So boom, we do that, and then pop, it goes from 35 to 40, and now I'm 40 out of 50 and closer to hitting the tier 26 on my collection level. So yeah, I know as a new player, the grid can be a little bit wonky and maybe not make a whole lot of sense. So hopefully this helps you avoid making some mistakes and missing out on some things that you wanted to save in your grid by moving them around and not losing them by buying something else and kind of blowing it by having them disappear. So if you enjoy daily Warcraft Rumble content, remember to subscribe down below because I've got tons of content heading your way on a daily basis covering this game. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.